all of a sudden my heart desired him. My heart desired Jesus. I grew up in a Christian household, and I was raised with a good amount of rules and morals that were very deeply encoded inside of me and still are to this day. But I wouldn't say that I followed it much during my teenage years. It was definitely in the beginning of 8th grade when I just stopped caring about everything that my parents invested into me, and I started to live a life away from God. My quote-unquote rebellious stage in high school, I call it rebellious because I rebelled against my parents quite a bit. A lot of the things they would want me to do, I wouldn't do. And my number one priority wasn't even my grades or school. It was more just wanting to be liked on campus, liked by a certain group of guys and by girls in general. So my main priority was, how do I look in the eyes of other people, not how do I look in front of the eyes of God or my loved ones. So I began to hang out with not so God-fearing people, I guess you could say. And I loved it. Genuinely, like it was very fun. I would get invited to a lot of after-school activities. On the weekends, I'd often go out and party with my friends. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But did I feel good, or did I feel full after experiencing certain memories, or after going out all weekend and having fun with my friends? Not really. Afterwards, I would always have this like empty feeling, knowing that I lied to my parents about where I was, or I did something where I shouldn't have because I just had to lie to my mom on what I was doing, or just being dishonest. So it wasn't a very fulfilling time of my life. Did it feel good in the moment? Yes. Were there afterwards consequences internally? Absolutely. I want to say it was the end of junior year. I went to a summer camp at my church. I attend local church. I still do to this day. And basically what happened was I was in a very low point, not mentally or physically, but spiritually, I guess you could say. My parents and I had a very rough patch throughout all my junior year. Constant arguing, constant problems, bickering. Basically, it was a daily thing, honestly, at that point. And I went to the summer camp. They kind of sent me as maybe you'll learn something good for once. So they sent me, and I encountered God there. I would say it was a 5-day camp. So I want to say around the second night, I encountered God. It was more of I feel so far away from you, from God. And from that moment forward, my heart began to just really desire the presence of God. And ultimately, I looked at my life, I judged my decisions that I've been making recently, and suddenly what I was actively doing didn't seem as interesting. So I decided to turn my life for God. I did a lot of things. I came back from that camp, and I stopped doing a lot of the lustful and worldly things that I would actively pursue. I got rejected quite a bit by my quote-unquote friends. They suddenly weren't interested in hanging out with me because quote-unquote I'm religious now, or because I'm a Jesus freak, as people like to say. And it hurt, honestly, because previously to the summer, I thought those people were my friends. But in reality, they really weren't my friends at all. They were just kind of people, they were place markers in my life that were there for just a brief period of time and were really interested in hanging out with me if I did the things that they were doing. Yeah, it really shows you who really are your friends and who's going to stick with you no matter where you are or what you're actively pursuing in life. It's the summer going into my senior year where I would say I really re-encountered God again, and suddenly instead of desiring so much what the world thought about me, I started to care a lot about what God thought about me. I really wanted to follow what the Bible said, because I, to this day, and then fully believe that Jesus came to this earth and died for us on a cross. And at the end of the day, I feel called, I feel just to follow what Jesus said for us to do. Like I mentioned previously, God actively pursued my heart, and he still does to this day. And because of that, because I encountered him, now all of a sudden I don't desire the things I used to when I was a teenager. I desire other things, which is to please him, because I care a lot about how he views me, and I don't want to let him down because he died on a cross for me. And ultimately, the influence that's had on other people has actually been very interesting. There's a lot of people And to this day, I know many people that still struggle with lust and what others think about them, with partying and drinking and smoking and things of that nature. And talking to other guys specifically who struggle a lot with the perception of what other people think about them or what girls think about them is actually a really common thing. It's really relatable with guys that I've hung around with, older or younger. It's a really great conversation starter. And it's just been so amazing to see how God can use my testimony and the story that I've been able to live out and help others who are in that struggle, who are in that on and off stage with God, where sometimes they really feel it and sometimes they don't. And it's been really amazing to see how God has not only affected me, but has used me to help others who are struggling with things that I used to struggle with. So it's been really cool.